In a case of what many are feeling is a differential treatment for the high and mighty from the common man, a federal high court sitting in Abuja has granted permission to a former governor of Kogi State, Alhaji Yahaya Bello, to travel to Saudi Arabia to perform the 2026 Lesser Hajj. Justice Emeka Nuite on Thursday ordered the temporary release of Bello's international passport, which had been in the custody of the court, to enable him undertake the religious exercise. Bello is currently standing trial in an EFCC case over an alleged 80.2 billion naira money laundering and misappropriation charge, which he has denied. The former governor intends to observe the last 10 days of Ramadan in the Holy Land, Saudi Arabia. His previous request to travel for medical reasons had been denied. Now you can only imagine that people on X and various other social media platforms had a lot to say. Let's take some of that feedback. On X, Scood said the craziest part was the fact that this person evaded arrest multiple times, and at one point a siege was laid on him by the EFCC to arrest him, yet the same man was allowed to travel abroad. No sane judge should permit him to travel because he's clearly a flight risk. Well, Ali Wan had a different view. He said whether Yahaya Bello travels is a matter for the court, not public sentiment. If there's no valid court order restricting him, allowing travel isn't a scandal, it's due process. The EFCC should be allowed to do its job, and the courts should handle conditions like that without public misinterpretation or selective outrage.
You see, it just shows the kind of... You see, that's why I say the country is not normal. The judge that granted this, the same Yahaya Bello that resisted arrest multiple times, that made the EFCC do merry-go-round, that Ododo was protecting, that almost his arrest, when they tried arresting him, almost led between a fisticuff between the EFCC officials and the police authorities that were guiding him and Ododo. The same person is being allowed to go to Hajj. So can the Hajj, is it today Yahaya Bello is going to be going to Hajj? If he doesn't go to Hajj, will he die? Most newspapers are not reporting it. Have you seen EFCC, the way they tabled what the evidence of transaction the witness was saying in court yesterday?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't report. And I don't know why people are not reporting all that is going on. Over 100 billion. Our transactions were being made. It was on EFCC's website. And EFCC will criticize you, but when it will join you in the work of fight against corruption, you can see we are joining, amplifying your story now. See, so while all of this is happening, the judge did not see all the shenanigans in the past. Because this is the same government that is so quick to say we can't give Nnamdi Kanu bail because he jumped bail at a point. Yahaya Bello that resisted arrest, he must go to Hajj this year. Yahaya Bello that has been going to Hajj all his life, is not Alhaji Yahaya Bello. If he doesn't go to this one, nothing will happen. So he must go. So you see the way we keep deceiving ourselves in this country. That's why the truth is very brutal. So if you can give Yahaya Bello back his passport to go to Hajj, if people like Emefiele say they want to go to Jerusalem, will you give them their passport back? No, you see the kind of country we live in. It's dirty. The hypocrisy is dirty.
Okay, let me put it like this. It's a trite point of law that a man is considered innocent until proven guilty. He has not, former Governor Yahaya Bello has not been
convicted,
classified as guilty. He has not been convicted. And to that extent, he having been granted bail, the court is obliged to continue to respect his fundamental human rights. Number 2 point, bail is granted at the discretion of the court. Now, the reason here is, the only reason it can be taken away is if the court considers the individual a flight risk. Obviously, Justice Emeka Nuite does not consider Yahaya Bello a flight risk. However, there are also, safety valves internationally in terms of how, international cooperation with regard to crime and structures that are in place have evolved. That even when a person is given the opportunity to travel, then of course, if the person decides to be a flight risk, those safety valves will kick in. If you run away to anywhere in this world, those safety valves will take you back to go and face justice, or you will face trial where you are, depending on the circumstances. There's something called extraordinary rendition. International Interpol will get you and take you back to that your country, except you don't move around. The third point is that courts have procedures. It is not unusual for a court of law to grant, temporary relief and say, okay, you can travel with your international passport. When you come back, you can return it. The court operates on the basis of process, procedure, if you like, not on the basis of mob sentiment. I hope that the day will never come. That day will never come when the judiciary in Nigeria will take decisions on the basis of what the mob says. That will be mob justice. The procedure will be followed. And I think in this particular case, just the Court of Justice Wite is following basic procedure, and he has not done anything that is unusual. Those are the points in my view.
Well, Kogi State has been a hub of activity. Let's look at what else transpired in Kogi State this week, where youths of the All Progressives Congress, APC, earlier in the week presented a 100 million naira check to Governor Ahmed Ododo for the purchase of President Bola Tinubu's 2027 re-election nomination form. Presenting the check at the youth's endorsement rally held at the Muhammadu Buhari Square, Lokoja, Babangida Onimisi, president of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, said the decision to buy the form affirmed their endorsement of the president for a second term. However, in a twist of events, core members serving in Kogi State have accused the state National Youth Service Corps, NYSC authorities, of allegedly deceiving them into attending the political rally. Babajide tweeted on X and said, absolutely, donating to a political cause is entirely their prerogative and a reflection of democratic choice in Nigeria's vibrant political landscape. That said, it's worth pondering the optics when Kogi State under Governor Usman Ododo faces ongoing challenges like infrastructure gaps and economic pressures, yet resources are channeled toward national endorsements rather than local delivery. Mo Dollar also posted and said, when youths crowdfund power for the same system that priced them out of hope, that's not loyalty. That's proof that poverty doesn't just empty pockets, it numbs judgment. All of this just, put aside the fact that there's an ongoing investigation and trial with regards to the abuse of public funds. But the argument, well, they may say they're young people, they can donate to whatever cause they want to, but we wonder, well, these are the questions. And if they had money to donate, should it have gone towards a political cause?
Everyone has a right to determine how they want to spend their money. The most important thing is that it's not done under duress and there are no lies around this, which we have now seen that some people are saying, I was not there, they called me for something else, and what I got on ground. But let me examine the reason why they said they were bold enough, or they were encouraged to give their hard-earned 100 million naira towards the campaign of the president, who said, by the way, during the last campaign, his wife had said they don't need Nigerians' money. But what they said that he has done very well for the youth. And in fairness to the president, there are a number of key policies and decisions is made in 2 years that have favored the young people. You can talk about NEL Fund, you can talk about the fact that more people, young Nigerians, have access to tertiary education. You can look at his appointments, and see some critical areas where he's involved more young people in governance. However, the bigger question for the people of Kogi State would be, have their lives been better since this president came into power? Of course, the answer is solely at their discretion and depending on how life has been for them. I tried to look at the statistics for the job unemployment rate in Kogi State, but unfortunately under the new methodology, it's difficult to really ascertain, because if you look at it, it's saying they are doing maybe 3%, 4%, and we all know that it's not 3%, 4%, because most of it will fall under the informal sector. How prosperous are the young people in Kogi State? Do they feel that the APC administration has favored them? It's up to them. I'm not here to answer the questions for them. If they feel so, and they decide that because of that, take my money, chop my money, take my money, it's up to them. But the truth at the end of the day is that with all of these support that is happening for the president, the most important thing is that, can the people enjoy the dividends of democracy? That is the best campaign slogan for any leader.
Yes, well, I'm not sure if we should be talking about campaign slogans before campaign has officially been launched by the officials, but here we are. Now to another story, where Anthony Joshua has broken his silence for the first time since losing his two best friends in a tragic car accident on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in December last year. In a vlog post across his social media platforms, he shared a touching video where he paid tribute to Sina, Ghami and Latif Ayodele and thanked all those who have shown him love and support during this time. In a write-up on Instagram, he thanked Lagoon Hospital Ikoyi, Dr. Ogunyokin, Dr. Tosim Majekodumi, and Dr. Nina Loo for their care. He also thanked his uncles Femi Otedola and Alhaji Aliko Dangote, who he said went above and beyond in offering logistical support. Joshua also appreciated Senator Daisy Danjuma, Honorable Commissioners of Health in Ogun and Lagos States, IGP of Police Kayode Egbetekun, and Commissioners of Police in Lagos and Ogun States. He thanked President Bola Tinubu for commissioning a team to step into his rescue, as well as Governors Babajide Sanwo-Olu and Dapo Abiodun for their personal involvement.
One day my time will come, and I'm not scared either, at all. It's actually comforting knowing I've got two brothers on the other side. You know, I've lost people before, but I don't think I've lost people like that, my left and my right, you know. Throughout this journey that I've been on, you know, it's not easy. I don't think I mentioned the love and appreciation. It's all acknowledged by me, by them, by their families. 100% we acknowledged the thousands and then maybe going into millions around the world that showed so much love to them both.
Well, a very heartfelt message from Anthony Joshua, and I can't imagine how difficult, you know, this would have been for him. Rufai, I'll come to you because I know you've been consistently very vocal about, you know, the trauma around what Anthony Joshua may be going through.
I mean, grief is still speaking. Yeah, that's just it. But I'm happy Anthony Joshua has been able to come out and verbalize his grief. It's a very sad one for him. These are his brothers, and he has thanked all those in authority. But till date, we have a case going on in court as regards the driver. Apart from the driver, the question is, what are the other investigations we need to do? Can we even check the state of the car? Can we even, despite this, has it improved our accident emergency and response? I would gladly say no. It's only the taste of the pudding is in the eating. It's only when you are caught on the expressway and you call emergency. Till today as we speak, the Nigerians still have a number to call when there's an emergency on the expressway. Has he improved the state of play of things? Have we had other accidents? Yes, we've had other accidents. The difference is just that it's not affected Anthony Joshua, maybe unknown Nigerians. So apart from Anthony Joshua, I'm happy he's beginning to get on the bounce, but the most important thing is, have we learned any lesson? We don't learn any lesson, Vimbai. That's the problem. And that's why the same thing police did in SARS. That's exactly what they were trying to do with these protesters again. So we've not grown since there. And you see, a country that doesn't learn lessons 40 years down the line and everything, you begin to become worried for the prospect of that country. Will this country make it through? Will it be able to sail through? Are we not going to come back here and talk about the problems we were talking about 40 years before now? And I think that's the challenge with Nigeria, except something shifts. And why I speak passionately is that I don't see things shifting. I still see people that have access and resources take advantage of every system in this country. And if you have that, you only have countries for the privileged people. A former American president once said, a country that values privilege over virtue will soon lose both the privilege and the virtue. Nigeria has become that country that values privilege over virtue.
Well, we'll still be here fighting the good fight.
Small footnote.
Very
I understand where the champion is coming from, that his driver should not be prosecuted and all that. I would have loved a situation whereby at least the driver is put in the dock. Because part of the problem we have is these drivers. And questions will be, does he have a driver's license? Was he under the influence? What was the condition of the vehicle? Because we need to do something also about these drivers. Have you not seen Nigerian drivers who will tell you that they didn't go to driving school? he will say, I just started driving one day and I became an expert.
Many.
Each time you hear that kind of thing, you just feel like, oh, this person wants to commit suicide. He should not carry me along. So something about, the processes.
The question, how do those drivers get the driver's license in the first place?
That is assuming that many of them have driver's license. Some of them drive without licenses. Number two, the owner of that stationary vehicle that caused the accident. Now, in some other parts of the world, if your vehicle has a problem and is on the road, within minutes, it will be moved out of the way where it can cause a problem for other road users. But in Nigeria, in fact, sometimes you find stationary vehicles right in the middle of the road, and there will be no safety consideration. The third point, quickly, is that it is very encouraging to hear, Attorney Joshua commending both the Lagos State government and the Ogun State government, and also the governors of both states and others. Because, in Ogun State, there is an outstanding matter about one lady called Just Adetun, who has been having a running battle with the governor of Ogun State and the Ministry of Health in Ogun State, saying that Ogun State has no ambulance and that Governor Abiodun was away in Ghana doing some other things. But now Anthony Joshua has shed some useful light on the responsibility of state governments and how Lagos and Ogun State stood up to be counted.
Absolutely. And I think many will just say, let it not be a response that is reserved for the privileged.